This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of My River District. I'm your host, Viveca, Community Development Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And I am sitting here with Janice Campbell.
Hello.
Spencer Safety Solutions, and then another thing we're going to talk about after.
Yes.
Hi, Janice. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the studio.
Yes, it's great.
My brick wall. Isn't it beautiful?
Hey, with downtown Owen Sound.
I know,
you can't
right?
go wrong with that.
We're actually in a helicopter above Owen Sound right now. This is a window.
Right.
That's
yes.
right. Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Janice.
Hello.
Tell me a little bit about Spencer Safety Solutions.
So Spencer Safety Solutions is a company I started just over 2 years ago. I found myself without a job. So I'm like, may as well start my own company.
Sure.
So the primary thing of what I do is occupational health and safety, helping businesses ensure that they are compliant with the health and safety legislation.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. So
what does that look like?
What does that look like? So that can include a number of things. So it can start with the development of a health and safety program,
okay.
Which I've done for a number of smaller companies in the area. That can include helping with the Joint Health and Safety Committee. That can include doing site inspections, doing inspections at the shop and office. It can, or all of the above sort of thing. So I also do safety training, things like supervisor training, working at heights training, worker health and safety rep training. So not joint health and safety committee training, but if you have less than 20 workers, then you can then you need a health and safety rep, so I can do that training. So that's the difference between the two, but yeah.
Okay, and you're local to Owen Sound. You're in the River District.
I am in the River District. My office is located at the Greystone building.
Yeah.
And yeah, I live in Owen Sound, so it was perfect to start my business here.
Fantastic, and we're glad to welcome you to the River District.
Yes.
Initially, when we had first spoken, we didn't realize you were located in the River District.
Well, that's because it's also just new, because my office used to be in the BDO building.
Right. Okay.
And I just moved to the Greystone building in December.
Perfect.
Yes.
It just so happened that our paths crossed at the exact right moment.
Exactly.
So now you've got a business directory listing. We've got links to all of your socials and all that kind of stuff on owensoundriverdistrict.ca.
Yes.
And that'll lead people directly to your website if they can't find it wherever.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about joint health and safety committees and what that looks like and who needs what.
Absolutely.
Because to some people, they might be like, what are you talking about?
Absolutely. So the Joint Health and Safety Committee, really what it comes down to is what the government calls the internal responsibility system.
Okay.
Which is unlegislated, but certainly implied within the legislation. So what it means is if a company has more than 20 employees, they need a Joint Health and Safety Committee, which is made up of worker and management reps.
Okay.
So a management rep is anyone who does or has supervisor responsibilities. So some people don't realize the definition of a supervisor, which is basically anyone who has care and control of a workplace. So it could be a foreman, it could be a lead hand, it could be a manager, it could be an assistant manager, anybody like that. The title doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's what the actual responsibilities are. And then the worker reps is anybody who is employed by the company who does not perform management responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah, so the Joint Health and Safety Committee, they have to meet on a quarterly basis to talk about any potential issues in the company, talk about injuries or illnesses that have occurred within the company, talk about any updates to the safety program or if any updates need to be made, review the monthly inspection. So as part of the Joint Health and Safety Committee, and even as a health and safety rep, if you have 6 to 20 employees, you need to have complete inspections on a monthly basis, which is again very important. And even if it's a construction site or a retail store or a restaurant or an office, these inspections need to take place. So it doesn't matter what type of business you have, it's based on the number of employees that you have.
Right.
So yeah, so to recap, it's if you have 6 to 20 employees, you need a health and safety representative, which is just one individual doing what needs to be done. And then once you have more than 20 employees, you need to have the Joint Health and Safety Committee.
What if you have 3 employees?
Then you don't need one.
Really?
Yes, and actually you don't even need technically a health and safety program.
Wow. But everybody should have
You
some
should.
sort of thing in place.
Yeah, because it's always the government has what they call the general duty clause, which is what is reasonable in the circumstances, same as in civil litigation, civil law, and things like that, or criminal law. It's what would a reasonable person do? So what are the reasonable steps that an employer can take? So even if you have 3 employees, it doesn't hurt to have a health and safety policy and a program in place. And it also depends on the type of business that you have. Because even if you have 3 employees, but you're dealing with designated substances like asbestos and lead and benzene and things like that, then you actually you need to have a safety program in place.
Right.
And there'll be times that depending on the scope of work or if you have a bad record that people are continually getting injured, then the Ministry of Labor will say you need to put something in place.
Right.
So even though it's not legislated that you need to have something, the Ministry of Labor might come in and say, okay, this is bad, this is what's happening, we need to fix this, you need to put something in place.
Okay, so if you're a restaurant and you've got fryers,
Yes.
so even if you have under 6, but you have fryers and stuff like that, does that start needing anything extra, or is it just the responsibility of?
It's just the responsibility, making sure that people are properly trained on how to use the system. And obviously, the health and safety legislation also ties in closely with things like the National Fire Code, the building code,
Okay.
things like that. So it's the Ministry of Labor is not necessarily just looking at the health and safety legislation. So if you're a restaurant that has deep fryers and things like that, then obviously you need to make sure that you're meeting the compliance of the fire code.
Right.
Making sure that you have the appropriate fire extinguishers, for example, above the fryers, and that people understand how to use those in case there's a fire.
Right.
Actually, it was so funny. I was actually, it's not really funny, but it is.
Not funny, haha.
Yeah. So a long time ago, before I got into health and safety, I was working at McDonald's when I lived in Toronto. And I remember I was on the night shift, and our maintenance guy was cleaning the fryers. And if you've ever worked at McDonald's, and you kind of understand, or any restaurant that you understand. So basically what happens is that you're supposed to turn the fryer off so there's no heat being created.
Sure.
Drain the oil out, and then you close the drain, or you clean it out, you close the drain, and then you basically filter the oil and put it back into the fryer. That's essentially what is happening. Well, the one night the maintenance guy forgot to turn the fryer off. So what happens is, because there's not enough oil in the vat, but there's all this extra heat being created, because you got to remember these temperatures are like 450 degrees.
Right, you're cooking French fries in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, exactly. So a fire started in the vat. And I turned around because I had no idea how to use the fire extinguisher.
Oh, wow.
Within the kitchen. And so I went to my manager. I'm like, Dawn, there's a fire back here.
Attention.
And that was literally how I said it.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, okay. And so she pulled the extinguisher, and fire went out, turned the fire off, and everything. So yeah, people were disappointed that they had no chicken nuggets or fish for the rest of the night. But
Was the person doing this okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He wasn't even there, actually. He had stepped away to do something and didn't realize that a fire had started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Probably
so
not a safe thing to do. But regardless, he didn't get hurt. So it's kind of...
Right. So we just can serve chicken or like nuggets or fish for the rest of the night. So I know, right?
I mean, but you also didn't burn down the restaurant. So
correct.
It's,
But that's a perfect example of people understanding, because if I had known as a worker and I worked in the kitchen, like I worked basically every aspect of the restaurant. But if I had known how to activate the fire extinguisher, I would have been able to do it right then and there.
Absolutely.
And so people working in the kitchen really need to understand how to activate that overhead extinguisher.
So are you equipped as part of Spencer Safety Solutions to teach a group of, say, 4 or 5 who don't necessarily have the number of people to have to follow all the regulations and stuff, but still would need some sort of safety protocol?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I do, actually. So even if a company comes to me and says that they want a health and safety program, actually, that's something I have to do tomorrow, is present their new safety program to the workers.
Okay.
So that's something that I incorporate as part of, hey, I'm developing your safety program. Let's make sure we're communicating it to your workers. Because a health and safety program sitting in a binder on a shelf is useless if people don't understand what's in it.
Yeah.
Or what they have to do in relation to the contents of it.
Right.
Like if somebody gets injured, what do they do?
We have to know.
We have
Absolutely.
to know. Right? And, or, you know, as we were talking before we started taping, driver safety and understanding the requirements of vehicle safety and doing circle checks and things like that before you get going.
Circle checks, that brings me back. Memories. And we were also having a conversation about rugs.
Yes.
Which are so, nondescript. Everybody has rugs. It's wintertime. People are tracking in salt and stuff.
In restaurants and stores and offices all the time.
Yeah.
But you get that corner curled up because it's old, first of all, or somebody trips over it, or when people are bringing in deliveries on a cart or something and it gets caught on the mat or something like that, nobody goes and fixes it. We always fix it.
Yeah.
If I'm in an office and I see the mat is curled up, I will fix it.
Could you tell me one of the, and it might be mats, one of the most common issues you see when you walk into a business?
It really depends on the business. It really does, because, right, like a restaurant is going to be very different from an office. An office is going to be very different from a construction site.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense.
Office and retail are going to be a little bit more similar. People often underestimate the hazards in offices.
Like stacking things way too high?
Stacking things way too high. Cords.
Yes.
Like extension cords, power bars, things like that. So there's a lot of
space heaters.
Yes. A lot of people underestimate the electrical hazards and things like that. Ergonomics is another big one that people underestimate.
Yeah, I saw that on your website.
Yes. Yeah, like if you're going home on a Friday afternoon and you are absolutely, your body is just aching, and you know it's not just stress, and then by Monday you're like, oh, I'm okay, then you have an ergonomics issue.
So you can come in and deal with that kind of stuff as well.
I can.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about ergonomics when we come back from this break.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about that other thing too.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Central West Side United Church.
Hello, Grey County. I'm your warden, Brian Milne. Want to be the first to know about news, services, and decisions in your community? Watch Grey County Council meetings live from the comfort of your living room, right here on Rogers TV, Grey County.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back to My River District. I'm sitting here with the CEO of Spencer Safety Solutions. 3 S's.
I know.
Janice Campbell.
I did that on purpose.
I do like an alliteration. I do
Yes.
enjoy it.
Yes.
But saying it, especially with S's,
I know.
that's a workout for the lips.
And it's funny. So when growing up, because Spencer's my maiden name, this is where it came from. So Janice Spencer.
Okay.
So they always ran together when I said it. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It feels like it's a theater exercise. Spencer Safety Solutions.
That's right. It is. That's exactly what it is.
Well, thank you for that.
You're
My
welcome.
mouth feels more limber.
Absolutely.
What are we even talking about?
Well, the further break, we're talking about ergonomics. We're
Oh,
gonna
yes.
Get into
Right.
ergonomics.
And we were talking about, through the break, what kind of the things that are just so damaging.
Yes.
And I
Laptops
mentioned-
is number one.
Yes. And a Minnie Mouse.
Yes.
That is a cute little name, I guess, because I
It
never
is.
put that together. But yeah, it makes
It's
your hand into a
horrible.
claw.
Yeah. Laptops are not in any way, shape, or form ergonomically safe without any accessories.
Right.
And I remember during the pandemic when people were working from home and
Oof.
just seeing people and they're like hunched over like this on their laptop. And it's like, oh my goodness, you really need some help. So if for office workers, the biggest thing they need to look at is making sure they understand how to adjust their chair. That's a big one.
Well, how should you be sitting?
Your joints, so your knees and your hips should be at about 90 to 110 degrees. Nothing less, nothing more.
So not crisscross applesauce.
No. But we all do it. Like I admit I sit on my leg quite often and stuff like that. But yeah, when you're at your desk, your chair, your joints, your primary joints, i.e. your hips and your knees, your feet should be on the ground or should be able to touch the ground. If you can't touch the ground, you need to have a footstool, things like that. Your mouse is a big one. Your keyboard is a big one. The height of your laptop or your monitor is another big one. A lot of people use their laptop as their primary monitor. And of course, you got like a 14-inch screen.
Sure.
And you're trying to read everything. So you have to take your eyesight into account. When was the last time you went to the eye doctor?
Right.
The height of your monitor should be just above your eyes.
Okay.
So your eyes are just below the top of your screen,
Gotcha.
especially for your big monitors. For your laptop, it's a little bit harder, but
So what do us like very, very short people do?
you have your monitors basically on the desk. With a footstool.
Right. Yeah.
With your chair as high as possible. No.
Sure. I mean, that pretty much sounds like my setup.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically.
Exactly. So for people in retail, restaurants, things like that, who have to stand for a long period of time, mats on the ground are hugely important, like rubber mats to stand on,
Okay.
are hugely important
Just for non-slip or with the cushioning?
for the cushioning,
Okay.
so that there's a little bit more resistance when you're standing.
Gotcha. I have one in my kitchen.
Exactly.
So there we are.
Yes. The other thing is when it comes to ergonomics construction is that people often underestimate ergonomics in construction.
Everybody's lifting things they shouldn't be lifting, and they're all lifting it wrong.
Exactly. Or like bending over for long periods
Yes.
of time. I remember being on a job site when somebody was like, what's the worst job you would want in a trade? I'm like, the rebar guys.
Ooh.
Especially if you're doing the rebar and floors.
Right.
Because you're constantly bent over trying to connect everything.
Right.
And I'm like, no.
So there isn't a job out there
No.
that exists without some sort of requirement for ergonomics.
Correct. Even driving. Look at truck drivers.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Like, think of when you're driving to Toronto or even to Kitchener or to Barrie or something like that for even a couple of hours and how often you shift positions while you're driving.
Yeah.
Or if you're in the passenger seat, right? So it's all of that we need to take into account.
And you can help with all of that.
I can help with all of that.
Well, that's pretty fantastic because, I mean, you can Google things and you think you're doing it okay, and then all of a sudden you have carpal tunnel and you realize that you're doing everything wrong.
Correct. Or wonder why your back hurts all the time, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes chronic back pain is caused by the simplest things.
It is.
Yes. Well, that's amazing. And I'm glad that there is a business in Owen Sound and in the River District who can deal with those kinds of things and who is happy to work with smaller businesses, local businesses who may not have the required number of staff to need this and that, but should definitely have something in place.
Yes. And I'm the only one in Grey Bruce.
Oh, well, there it is.
Yes.
And so how do we get in contact with you?
My website, spencersafetysolutions.com.
Okay.
They can call me at 519-376-SAFE.
Nice.
7233. Or email me at jcspencer@live.ca
Okay.
or through River District.
Yes, it's on the River District website.
That's right.
Huzzah. So you also have
Yes.
another thing that you are working on,
I do.
and it is a CRM.
Yes.
What is a CRM?
So a CRM is basically client relations management system. So just over a year ago, I woke up with a really dumb idea in my head.
Love that.
That's when the best ideas happen.
Absolutely.
And that was to create a CRM for hairstylists. So the biggest thing so it's called stylelrolo.com. It's in the final stages of testing. It's like 99.9% done at this point.
Okay.
By the time this airs, it will probably be 100% done.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes. So probably within the next couple of days, it's supposed to be done. We're just finishing off a couple of things. But basically, it's for the beauty expert who doesn't own the salon, works from home, works on the road, i.e. hairstylists, makeup artists, nail technicians, even skin technicians. They can manage their client list, manage their appointments, but also track the services that they're providing to their clients.
Right. So last time you came in, we did a chemical peel and hyaluronic acid thing. I don't know.
Right. Or like when you go to the hairstylist and you color your hair,
right,
and there's a certain recipe that they put together.
Yes.
A lot of hairstylists, especially if they don't own the salon, but a lot of hairstylists still write it on paper notes.
Sure.
Right? They still have it, or they don't track it at all.
They have like a Word document or an Excel document open or something.
I've never seen that one, but
no, I mean, okay.
They might.
I would have an Excel document, but
well, yes, because you're special. So in this case, they can open the app, they can open the appointment, and write down everything associated with this particular client. The other thing is that they can upload photos to the client profile.
okay.
So the perfect example that I can think of for this is, think of when you got married. I don't know how organized you were with hair and makeup. So some brides will go to their hairstylist like a month before their wedding and do their practice due.
Yes.
And say, okay, this is how I want my hair, blah, 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 blah. Or even their makeup artist say, you know, I want this kind of look for my special day, right?
Sure.
So the makeup artist, the hairstylist may take pictures in their phone and in their gallery along with all their other personal and professional photos. So on the day of the wedding, instead of having to search in their gallery like from 4 weeks ago as to when they took the pictures, all they have to do is open the client profile in the app and the picture's right there.
I love a good CRM.
Yes.
I mean, I've used a different one for very different things.
Yes.
But just being able to look up the client and have the entire history right there at your fingertips.
Yes.
Whether it's, I don't know, birthday or hair color or nail length or financial responsibilities and things like CRMs are amazing tools.
Yes. And the biggest thing with this, first of all, it's cost effective. It's only $12.99 a month.
Okay.
Or $120 per year.
Oh my gosh.
That's like one haircut.
Yeah.
Right? It's really simple to use.
Okay.
That's the other big thing. I wanted to make sure that it was really easy for anybody to use it.
Sure.
And the information belongs to the beauty expert.
Okay.
It does not belong to the salon that they work at or whoever, which I know for hairstylists is a really big thing.
Because they'll have a chair here and then they'll move here.
Right. Because a lot of hairstylists especially are what they call intrapreneurs. So they work within a salon, but they run their own business. So renting the chair, right? So they need to own their information. So with this app, they own the information.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So what is it called again?
So it's called Style Rolo.
Okay.
And you can sign up at stylelrolo.com.
Okay.
And like I said, it is really simple and easy to use. Anybody will be able to go in and just use it.
And so you could upload photos?
Upload photos and share on social media as well, directly from the app.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I love a good integration.
Yes.
What kind of other information can they store around their client?
So all of their client contact information, appointments.
Okay.
And they can send out reminders for appointments as well. And yeah, that's, like I said, like it's really, there's no client integration at this point. That may be something we do down the road.
Sure.
But right now it's for the professional to be using for what they need.
Okay. I love that. I think CRMs, for anybody who doesn't know what they are just this really robust tool that allows everybody to have everything in one place and organized and, of course, searchable.
Yes.
Information is being searchable is so hard to get in some documents.
Yes.
So having an Excel spreadsheet or having a Word document and stuff like that, it's not going to get you as far as simply as a CRM.
Correct.
I'm a huge CRM nerd.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So it will send people reminders.
Yes.
And it will also filter into a calendar for
Yes.
the user, the main user.
Yeah, so when they open their dashboard, their calendar's right there, as well as like a photo gallery of some of their lost appointments and things like that.
Awesome. Okay, I have one last question for you.
Absolutely.
Why do you, as a local, love it here?
I grew up in small town. Like, I grew up just outside of Stratford.
Yeah? Sounds like a
And-
song.
I know.
Yeah.
And I just love small towns. Like, I lived in Toronto for, like, Toronto and Durham region for 16 years of my life. And I did not love it. I got out of Scarborough, first of all, as soon as I could. And then when I moved back to the region and went to Oshawa, it was challenging. And so when we had the opportunity to move, admittedly, when we had the opportunity to move up here, I kind of balked at the idea.
Fair.
But then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And I haven't regretted it since.
No.
Not at all. You know what? Where we live is super quiet. Our house backs onto an extension of the Bruce Trail, the trail
Nice.
that goes down towards Harrison Park.
Okay.
So I'm in the south end. And it's so quiet and relaxing. Our streets know a lot of people. We have a little, one of our neighbors actually a couple of years ago started like a fair day for us, and we have games and we have a potluck and we have fun like that on a Saturday afternoon.
So it's just a really tight-knit community.
Yeah.
And yeah, access to trails and water and
Oh, you know what?
everything.
That's one of the best things, and taking the dog out for walks all the time. But you know what? And like for the River District, like specifically, like the businesses and restaurants that are in Owen Sound are awesome. Caseros has ruined all other Tex-Mex restaurants for me as a perfect
That's fair.
example. Like, I can't go to Lone Star down in Toronto anymore.
No,
It's,
absolutely not.
No. Their queso dip, it does not compare.
That's fair. Now, Janice, thank you so much for coming in here today.
Thank you.
Talking about Spencer Safety Solutions
Yes.
and why you as a local love it here.
Yes.
And your upcoming CRM. Tell us again where we find it
StyleRolo.com.
and tell us how to get in touch with Spencer Safety Solutions.
SpencerSafetySolutions.com.
And do you know any of your socials? You're on the spot.
Facebook is just Spencer Safety Solutions. LinkedIn is Spencer Safety Solutions Canada.
Okay.
And yeah.
And Style Rollo is not up yet on socials. Or
It is, actually.
is.
I have on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, fantastic. So go
Yes.
and search that out. Thank you again. I'm going to give you your official Locals Love It Here badge of honor.
Yay.
Please wear it with pride.
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you for joining us in the River District. Thank you for joining us at my River District,
Absolutely.
the Rogers Studio, and we will see you next time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I did it. I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
Today, I helped a parent feed their family by connecting them to a food program.
Today, I helped someone connect with mental health supports.
Today, I helped a couple struggling to pay their bills access financial aid.
Every day, 211 navigators connect